Now, in other news, Britain's King Charles III made his first address to parliamentarians as monarch. He said his government was focused on increasing economic growth and easing the cost of living crisis. The speech at Westminster today outlining the government's priorities for the new parliamentary session. The government also expected to promote trade and take advantage of Brexit freedoms.
My minister's focus is on increasing economic growth and safeguarding the health and security of the British people for generations to come. My government will continue to take action to bring down inflation, to ease the cost of living for families, and help businesses fund new jobs and investment.
We can now go across to France 24's Bénédicte Pavillot standing by in London. Bénédicte, good afternoon. What were some of the main takeaways from that speech?
Well, there were many. You alluded to quite a few there. Let's point out it's the first time that there's a King's speech in over 70 years, because, of course, his late mother, to whom he began by paying a tribute and thanked her for his darling mother's legacy and devotion. Then, indeed, let's remind our viewers that although King Charles is the head of state, it is the current government, so Rishi Sunak's government, that writes this speech that the monarch reads. So there were unsurprising priorities like reducing inflation and helping with the cost of living. A confirmation, interestingly, of new North Sea oil and gas licenses that were, as I said, confirmed. That is important, and that is to help reach net zero, although there are some quite big criticisms here of doing that by indeed drilling further. There were pledges to support Ukraine, give aid to Gaza. There's very much an angle of crime and justice being focused on. So there were tougher sentences for most serious offenders, longer sentences, basically. A real priority of laws to prevent children smoking. That is another big priority of this government. And there was a go-ahead, which will seem very timely, for a Holocaust memorial that we built meters away from where the King indeed was giving that speech.
You listed, Bénédicte, a lot of things that the monarch announce essentially what the government wants to do in the next couple of months. What does it tell you about the direction the Sunak government will be taking in the run-up to the next general election?
Well, let's also remind our viewers, this is an opportunity for this government, for Rishi Sunak. Remember that the Conservatives have been in power for over 13 years. The Prime Minister has to call an election by January 2025. Analysts here really think that it will be called as late as possible, and that could be next September, next October. So there would be another, basically, just about a year to go. And this is a chance, as he did at the annual party conference just weeks ago, for Rishi Sunak, this Prime Minister, to say that he's the direction that is needed. This is his vision, he said, of a better Britain. Now, that is something that is hotly disputed by the party, the main opposition party, the Labour Party, that is way ahead in the polls, has been consistently for over a year, a party that is led by Sir Keir Starmer. The Labour Party, to quote them, said that this speech and these bills, there are 21, the King referred to 16 of them in his speech, was, quote, a pretty pathetic programme of tinkering. So, as I said, this is very much about the government setting forth its vision and Rishi Sunak trying to regain points, trying to convince his party and indeed the population and the nation when they come to vote that they should vote Conservative. So this is yet another, Delano, yet another starting gun for a general election. A general election we know is coming, we know is looming, we just don't know when.